Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our YouTube live channel, VectorVest Trending Thursdays. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation. Cheryl asks a question real quick. What can I expect from this? Well, for anyone who's joining me for the first time, our YouTube Trending Thursday is all about stocks making the news. And we use the power of the VectorVest software to analyze those stocks to make decisions on whether they were newsworthy stocks and if they were stocks that you might want to either get into or stay away from. So that's what we do here on Trending Thursday. It is all about what's making the news. And, you know, like I said, sometimes you'll find good stocks you want to get into. Sometimes you'll find some stocks you definitely want to stay away from. But some of these are stocks that you may be in as well, all right? Yes, thought should let Glenn know there are some people waiting elsewhere. Oh, and Alex. So Alex was saying that when you go to sign up or set an alert for the Trending Thursdays, always check the date. We have them out more than a week. We have the current week and then the following week up there. So you can set your alert for either or, just to let you know. So that's the answer for you, Alex, as well. Don't put stocks in today. Today, we're going to have a big surprise after our stocks of interest. So today, don't put stocks in yet. I'm going to introduce a new segment. So make sure you're here for the end of the presentation because we're going to start, like I said, a new section or a new segment. And I'm going to need some feedback from you to help me proceed with that. All right. And Wheaty, did I say that right? Y-Ty or Wheaty says, oh, I love surprises. So, sir, 3 top stocks to buy now. Manoj, that's not what we do. But I will give you a stock pick for the week. I am starting to do that. I will give you one stock pick for the week. My job is to teach you about how to utilize the news, primarily to utilize the software to help you to make better decisions. We do use the VectorVest software. And if you are not a VectorVest subscriber, Joey will put a link out there for you to take a trial to the VectorVest software for 99 cents for 30 days. So that's something that's out there if you want to take advantage of, but it still primarily revolves around using VectorVest to make decisions. How many of you like our new thumb, our new background? Joey will let me know. This is new. We're starting to incorporate other new things as well. So I like this background for the Trending Thursdays. Makes it look like I'm sitting in the middle of a city somewhere. Joey, you know what city this is? Good. So, by the way, Joey is my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
There you go. He's the guy in the background that makes me look good. He doesn't have much of a job to have to do for that because, look at me. It's almost perfection, right? Yeah. And if you got something to say, Joey, you know what I have to say to you? That's absolutely right. All right, so as you can see, I have my own soundboard as well, so I'll utilize some sounds. This is all about fun, but you're going to get a lot of great information out of it. All right, so let's start off. We always start off with looking at market timing. No matter what is in the news, no matter what anything is going on, it's always market timing. So let me get us into the home page of the VectorVest software. This is where we start our market overview. This is where we get a feel of what's going on in the market. And VectorVest has a lot of tools at your disposal to help you to make better decisions, keep you more focused instead of sitting on the swivel trying to decide or determine what to do. All right, so as we look at our home page, we are using the VectorVest real-time service so we can see what's going on with all of the major indices right here. All of them, with the exception of our VectorVest composite, are all up to date, but not by a lot. I'll explain why that is in a second. The Dow is up about 0.3%. The biggest mover right now is the S&P 100, up almost 0.7%. The S&P 500 up about 0.3%. The NASDAQ up 0.6%. And our mighty VectorVest composite is down almost 0.3%. Well, how can that be? Well, keep in mind that the VectorVest composite is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track. And currently in the database, we track 8,216 stocks. This price of $50.16 is an indexed arithmetic average of all of these stocks. So we use this indicator, the VVC, primarily for timing the market. Now, if you're new, when we talk about timing the market, we don't predict which way the market is going to go. We stay on top of the trend of the market and keep you guys on the right side of the trend. Let's move over and look at our color guard. This is one of our traffic lights into the market. This looks at today. Our color guard is neutral, and VectorVest does advocate, as of right now, caution when buying stocks at this time. Well, let's talk about the 6-day traffic light into the market called the color guard. And the color guard tracks 3 of our market timing indicators. Price, which is again that price of the VectorVest composite. We track its trend on both the week-over-week and day-over-day basis. RT, which looks at the short-term price trend of the market and is cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. RT at the value of 1.10 tells me that the market is still in an uptrend right now. And then every stock in our database does get a buy, sell, or hold recommendation every day. We have a ratio called the BSR, or buy to sell ratio, which looks at the relationship of buy recommendations divided by sells. At 2.66, we're saying that for every sell in the system, we have over 2.5 buys. So the market is showing signs of strength. Now we look at the colors within this color guard. What's the predominant color you see? Well, 3, 6, 8, 11 yellow lights, and that means that we have 7 green. So from a traffic light perspective, more yellow than green. What do you do in a current market like this? You slow down. You want to speed up, don't you?
Yeah.
Joey, I'm surprised you have a license. All right, but Joey wants to speed up. But technically, when you get to a yellow light, what do? Slow down. In this market, even though there's a bullish tinge in the market, I'm going to tell you to just be careful. All right, take advantage of the up days. All right, but also notice that we have an indicator called the MTI, the market timing indicator, which also has a level where the market is starting to look for a top. When this indicator, which is cast on a scale between 0 and 2, is at the level of 1.5 to 1.6, the market is looking for a top. So given all of the yellow lights, we have the MTI looking for a top. This is a good time to be cautious in the market. Now that we've got a feel of what's going on from a trend perspective, is it okay or not okay to buy stocks? Caution means it's okay to buy as long as the market is moving up, all right? Let's talk about why the market is showing the characteristics that it is right now. Folks, before I get into my market overview stories, keep in mind there's 3 things that move markets globally: earnings, interest, and inflation. Earnings. When a company meets or exceeds its earnings, it has more money in its pockets to do other things. When interest and inflation are low, that's good for a company as well. Low interest rates means they can borrow money and pay it back at a lower price or at a lower rate. And if inflation is low, costs for goods are cheaper, right? Now, earnings is the good guys. Inflation and interest rates are the bad guys. Right now, inflation, the Fed says that inflation is still well in line. All right, I know that when I go to the store, I'm spending a little bit more money on my food. All right, it is what it is. Interest rates are still historically low, and they will stay that way to help keep the economy afloat. All right, we all know that we're in a pandemic. The pandemic has affected the market in an adverse way. So the Fed is doing everything that it can to keep the market afloat. So let's start to get into the stories which cover what's going on in the market. My first story talks about the U.S. will borrow an estimated $2 trillion in the second half of 2020. Woo! Estimates assumes Congress will pass $1 trillion of additional stimulus. There's a lot of stimulus that's out there. All of this is helping to buoy the economy, to keep the economy afloat, even though the pandemic has had an adverse effect on the market. As we scroll down a little bit more, the U.S. expects to borrow an additional $2 trillion in the second half of the year as federal spending ramps up to combat the coronavirus pandemic, the Treasury Department said on Monday. The department estimated the government would borrow $947 billion from July through September, a record for the quarter, bringing the total borrowing for the fiscal year up to $4.5 trillion. Hey, Joey, how many numbers is trillion? A lot of numbers. I agree. A lot of zeros. And it's in line with earlier estimates. All right. So keep in mind that a lot of stuff is being put out there. We have another stimulus package that's in the works. Congress is working on to continue adding the $600 to the unemployment. Is that there or is that not there? Without it being there, that could affect the economy in an adverse way. The president also said that if he can't get the order come through Congress, he may do his own executive order. All of this is in line to try to keep the market going. Now, there's another story that I have here. The record-setting jobs comeback looks like it could be coming to an abrupt halt. Why? Well, we already know we tried to do a reopening across the country, and we had a resurgence of coronavirus cases. That is affecting jobs. Now, the Fed's job is to make sure that jobs are good and that interest rates are in line to keep the market going. Well, interest rates are still at historic lows, all right? So, and they're being very dovish about keeping it low. They're saying that they're going to keep interest rates the way they are going probably into 2022. That's a long time from now to make sure that the market is going. And the jobs, the jobs were doing good after we started reopening, and then after the resurgence, a lot of companies closed down again. A lot of restaurants, you go out to a restaurant now, it's only 50% at capacity, right? So it makes it tough. So the record-setting jobs comeback looks like it's coming to an abrupt halt. Consensus expectations are that 1.26 million jobs were added in July. However, some economists say that signs are increasing that the number could be well below that, even negative. That would come after a record-setting job creation that saw 7.5 million jobs added over the previous 2 months when we started to open back up again. So, no matter which camp you're in, whether we should reopen or don't reopen, it doesn't matter. What needs to be done is what needs to be done, and everybody will follow right in line with what's going on with your particular state. So those are the things about the borrowing of the money, the jobs. Now let's get back into the software, and I am going to go to our watch list of stocks. And where am I going to go? I'm going to go here. Here's our watch list of stocks. Every week we create a watch list of the stocks that we're going to talk about. This week, here they are for 8/6/2020. The first two stocks that I always look at for the market are, if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we want you to look at the VVC, which is what we use for tracking the market. And if you're not a subscriber to the software, we're always going to look at the spiders, the S&P 500. Let's go take a look at their graphs. Let's get a feel of what's going on in the market. View the stock graph. Bring this up a little bit. I always like to look at the last 3 months, because in the last 3 months of every 3 months, you have earnings coming out. I always want the earnings picture to be in my graph. Here's the VectorVest composite. Definitely rising higher. Love that. Doing so on good volume overall on that VVC. Today is a little bit of a down day on that VectorVest composite. It's okay. One day doesn't make a trend, but the market overall, tracking over 8,200 stocks, is definitely moving higher. But as a VectorVest subscriber, we do have that indicator, the MTI. I'm going to add another graph. Let's go put on the market timing graph this time, where I can add the MTI. All right, there's the 3-month graph. Let's go add on the MTI, or the market timing indicator. Remember I told you when it gets to a level of about 1.5 to 1.6, the market's looking for a top? The market has been toppy since mid-May. What does that tell you? This is a time to be careful. You ever heard the song, "What Goes Up Must Come Down"? Do-do-do-do. Remember that song? Yes, I'm dating myself. But what goes up must come down. The market, from a VectorVest perspective, is telling you that we're looking for a top. When it's going to happen, we don't know, but the market is looking toppy. That's why a lot of caution is advised, but not telling you not to take advantage of the good up days when the days are up, but only buy stocks when the market's moving higher. All right, let's move over to the S&P 500 or the spiders. Nice up day on today's candle. Now, this is something that catches my attention about the spiders. Let's draw a freehand line from this low. All right, there's the market moving higher. All right, so that indicator that looks at the short-term price trend of the market. What am I doing? Let's make that a little darker. The short-term price trend of the market, which is the relative timing. All right, not only that, what else is on here? Volume. What's going on with volume over this last little period as well? Well, volume is doing what? Trending slightly down. Do you guys know what that's called? That's called a bearish divergence between volume and the price of the S&P 500. Another reason to have heads-up mentality when investing in this market right now. Volume is conviction. When I'm seeing a stock or an indice or an index like the S&P 500 going up, I want the volume to be rising with it. See back here when the market was rising? Look at the rise in volume as well. Volume is conviction. Volume is conviction. Joey, you need to put this in the video. Just like this. Volume is conviction. That is very important. Now, as I watch that and the volume is falling, all I'm telling you, between the VectorVest composite with all of the software with all of the yellow and the color guard and the S&P 500 spiders going up and volume going down, folks, be cautious in the market. All right, and that takes care of my market overview. What do you do currently right now? Take advantage of the up days. Only buy on the days when the market is going up, number one. Number two, don't back up the truck to try to get all your money into the market. And number three, don't be afraid to take profits early. All right, don't be afraid to take profits off the table. In a time when the market's looking toppy, take your money, get it, and run. All right, any questions, Joey? All right, so no questions. Let me close out of this graph. All right, get back into our watch list.
What did you say about volume?
What did I say about that? Volume was conviction. Why did you make me do that all over again? Volume.
Yes,
What did they say about volume? Joey, make sure you accentuate this in the video. Volume is conviction. Now, for all of you who may be new, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Especially if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. I'm getting to a point now where I'm getting more non-subscribers watching the videos than subscribers. Please subscribe. If you like the content, don't be afraid to subscribe. And of course, comment. I try to do all that I can to personally answer a lot of your comments that you put out there. All right. So that's our first story. Let's get into our next story. The next story today is about coronavirus. Why? Because coronavirus is still the main headline. Have you guys not realized that? Coronavirus, everybody's still rushing for a vaccine. So I want to make sure that you're up on which stocks are moving and which ones were moving or not moving. This is, again, a time where you take profits on the stocks that you can. Some of these stocks move up 30, 40, 50%. In our trading room, the Jockey Club, we made 142% about a month ago on a stock in one day. So there's a lot of potential. These are trading stocks. Don't get me wrong. These are trading stocks. But if you're looking for a coronavirus stock that does have some upside, I'm going to show you how to find that as well. All right, so the first story I have is on Precipio, up big on the launch of COVID-19 blood tests. Now, NanoCap Precipio, which is probably more a lower dollar stock, rockets up on a whopping 61 times surge in volume in a reaction to its agreement with the ADS Biotech to distribute its COVID-19 antibody blood test worldwide. So, as we start to get close to a vaccine, we're going to have to be able to build up antibodies to go after the COVID-19. And there's a lot of people who say that COVID-19 is like the flu. Well, it is a flu-based disease or issue. But the coronavirus is a very aggressive deal, number one. Number two, notice that the flu doesn't flare up primarily in the summer months, whereas the coronavirus is still doing so. So there are some differences between the two. One thing, I'm not getting into the politics about this, and I'm not trying to pull sides on who believes what or all that kind of stuff. All I want to do is bring you the news, bring you the facts, all right? Precipio will initially offer the test as a service in its CLIA lab starting in August. People are getting close to putting something out for people. And once that's done, I think that people will be less stressful about what's going on with the COVID-19. With a subsequent rollout to doctor's office as a point of care assay, followed by distribution via retail channels for at-home direct-to-customer use. So here's a company. Now, the thing about PRPO, keep that in mind. This is important stuff. And the stock went up 422%. Now you say, well, man, that already happened. What do I do now? Well, I'm going to show you a listing of stocks on how you can get prepared every day on a daily basis to find what stocks are moving early in the morning. All right. So that's one of my stocks. My favorite stock for this whole pandemic has been Moderna. They beat earnings by 3 cents and they beat on revenue. This is a happening company. Now, it's been pretty tough to stick with Moderna because it's got heavy swings up and down, but it will give you an opportunity from a more aggressive means to make money and do so quickly. So mRNA beats by 3. The revenue, they beat by 42 million. Well, there's a lot of buzz. Moderna has been in the news a lot due to the pandemic. And this is one of the companies that I think, and you need to keep this in mind, this is one of the companies that may be very close to the table to coming out with a vaccine. This is one of 3 companies. This one, Pfizer, Novavax are really good companies for the purposes of being able to come out. And then there's a company in England, Oxford something or other, that is close as well. All right, so from an earnings play, because of all that's going on with Moderna, it beat earnings and revenue. And my other stock is, there it is, Novavax. This was done yesterday. Today's the 6th. Novavax up 17% early stage COVID-19 vaccine data. See, the words are now coming out that they're using the word vaccine because companies are getting close. So Novavax, in a significant turnaround, it was up pre-market yesterday, neutralizing antibodies. Again, there's the word antibody titters. Can I say that? Anyway,
Huh? You're gonna need to bleep that out.
You're gonna listen. I'm just reading the words there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. Were induced in all participants, and the safety profile was favorable. Look at that. So they're getting. How about other countries like AstraZeneca, GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer is what I said. Here's another stock that we've talked about a couple of times. BNTX, Moderna, INO. These are stocks that have come up in these presentations time and time again. So let's do this. So those are the stories. I'm going to get back into the software. Let's go find my coronavirus stocks today from the stories. We have Novavax. We have Moderna. What else did I have? Novavax, Moderna, and PRPO. All right, PRPO. Where's my P? There it is, PRPO. Let's analyze these stocks real quick. Remember, so now out of the coronavirus stocks, which ones would I think about getting into? Novavax, trading at 162. Its value is 218. Stock is clearly trending or trading under its value. That's a good thing. Moderna, 73 at a value of 798. Woo, this stock is definitely over its value. But because the stock is overvalued, that just means that people are willing to pay a premium to own it. It doesn't make it a bad stock. Precipio at 344 with a value of 192. Also overvalued. Now, let's step into what separates our analysis from everybody else's. We have 5 indicators, all cast on a scale between 0 and 2. RV, RS, RT, VST, and CI. Let's go through those real quick. RV, relative value. The stock's long-term upside appreciation potential. Upside. Over the next 1 to 3 years, should this stock outperform a AAA corporate bond? At 1.45, it is favorable. I'm telling you that Novavax should outperform that AAA corporate bond by 45% over the next 1 to 3 years. Moderna, RV at 0.37. This is not a long-term play. Precipio at 0.82 on RV. Not a long-term play. All right, relative safety, which is an indicator of risk. Also cast on that scale between 0 and 2. At 0.82 on Novavax, this stock is not altogether a safe stock, even though it's got good upside potential. This is a stock that I would buy more as an aggressive trader because I like stocks that have good upside potential, but I'm willing to give up some risk. Moderna with a relative safety at 0.88. Man, this is a risky stock. So, Moderna is overvalued, upside potential, not long-term, not there, and it is a riskier stock. Precipio, overvalued, relative value below 1, relative safety below 1. Keep in mind that Moderna and Precipio are more speculative trades where Novavax is more of an aggressive trade. A little difference in the ideology. The speculator throws all caution to the wind, whereas the aggressive trader is looking for good upside but willing to take some risk. But here's the other side of it. Novavax, RT, short-term price trend, in an uptrend. At 1.70 on that scale between 0 and 2, Novavax is definitely in an uptrend. Moderna at 1.03 on RT, definitely in an uptrend. Not as fast in an uptrend as Novavax and Precipio. Not in an uptrend at all. So why did Precipio make this list? Because it's one of the stocks that have made the news in this space. This is the importance behind having the software to make a decision. If I'm looking at which stock I would like to take out of that list right now from the stories, Novavax would hands down be it. Well, let's analyze it a little bit more. The best combination of value, safety, and timing by way of our VST is Novavax, and Moderna and Precipio further down my list. Upside, the stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines, that's the comfort index. Above 1, these stocks are more resilient to a downpull or a down. Now, understand, because Moderna has been in the news, this stock tends to go up more than it goes down, but it is grossly overvalued. The upside potential is not there. It is not a safe stock, and it is in an uptrend, but because of the news pushing it, the stock tends to go up more than goes down. All right, let's take a look at all 3 of these graphs, though, to add to my ability to make a better decision. Novavax, 3-month graph. Look at that. On my graphs, I'm using a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. I'm also using that short-term price trend of RT. And at the bottom, what did I say about volume, Joey?
It's conviction.
You didn't say it with conviction. Say it with conviction, Joey.
Volume is conviction.
You're horrible at this. All right, say it like this. Volume is conviction. Say that, Joey.
Volume is conviction.
You're still horrible at it. Anyway.
Come on, that was great.
That was okay.
I'm coming after you.
All right, bring it on. Bring it on, baby.
I'm gonna do all this.
Novavax. Up, it's nice but surely, but going up, down day to day. So now, let's talk about that. Let's say I'm in Novavax. The stock is down today. What keeps me in the stock? Your stops. If your stock hasn't hit the stops yet, leave it alone. Another thing, from a visual perspective, with these 3 and 8 exponential moving averages on an end-of-day basis, why not wait for the 3 to go below the 8? Give the stock some room. A lot of times we get out of stocks too early because we don't give them enough room to move to the downside. Now, I'm not telling you to take a big loss. Don't want to do that. Maybe you set a max floor for the loss. Maybe you say, I don't want to lose any more than 10% on the stock. That's your floor. You never lose more than 10% then, all right? But use your stops to manage the trades. RT is still above 1, but pulling back a little bit. The stock might be stalling out. So if I'm up and I've made some money, don't be afraid to may possibly take half off the table and let the other half run, all right? My next stock that's in here is Moderna. Again, I love this stock personally, but right now, as I said, it's been a tough stock to stay long in. It is pulling back down. RT is getting close to going below 1. Once that happens, Moderna will be in a downtrend, and absolutely, by that time, if you're still in it, all bets should be off the table because the stock's in a downtrend. And the last one, which is PRPO, Precipio, man, this stock is just having a hard time getting out of its own way. A big move on 7:30 where the stock's price went from $1.37 to $7 in one day with a high of $8 that day. That's a big move. What do you think is happening? I think I'm getting a little bit of profit taking from this level where the stock was before it went up. A lot of volume. And right now, currently, PRPO has got an RT below 1. If I'm thinking about getting into this, probably not. All right, let's take this one step further. We do have a coronavirus watch list. So you have this, everybody in the software has this watch list. If you have the VectorVest software, you have this watch list. I've created my own where I've been able to add more stocks to it to make it more conducive to what I'm looking for. If I'm a long-term investor in coronavirus stocks, let's sort this list of 44 coronavirus stocks by RV. What's the big, VRTX, best upside potential. Regeneron, Codex, ABBV. These are the stocks that I would feel a lot more comfortable in this space holding long term. But wait a minute. What if I'm looking for the best combination of all three? Then you go down the list and you find a stock like Lakeland, where it's got an RV above 1, RS above 1, RT above 1, VST above 1. Buy recommended, 24% earnings growth. Let's take a look at that stock. View the stock graph. This is what you're looking for to help you to find those stocks. Now, how about this stock has gone down 2 days in a row? Look at that 3 and 8 though. The 3 and the 8 still haven't crossed. RT still above 1. And on this graph, I've got a couple of things from a technical standpoint that can help me capture profits. How about this day, 8-4, we have a candlestick pattern known as a shooting star, which could be a bearish reversal, and we had follow through yesterday. Would that have been a good opportunity to take at least half off the table with that bearish candlestick pattern and follow through? Answer to that is yes. So use your stops. Use your stops to help you to get out of the stock. Use your graphs, whatever you need to help you. But this coronavirus list is ideally suited to help. What if I'm more of an aggressive trader? Sort the list by RT. Let's find which ones are moving up the fastest. Folks, we have this list for you in the software every day. And if you're a trader or a longer-term investor, you can find some of the best coronavirus stocks to get into. All right, let me go back to my watch list for today. And Joey, I'm going to ask, hold on, do I have any questions on that story?
Invax bull put credit spread or bull call debit spread?
All right. So the question is on Novax, do I want to put a credit or a debit spread? The first thing I need to know is the option premium under or overvalued? All right. If the option premium is overvalued, I'm going to put on a credit spread. If the option premium is undervalued, I'm going to put on a debit spread. All right. The difference between the premium being under and overvalued means if it's overvalued, I'm going to receive a lot more for selling the spread. But if it's undervalued, I'm going to spend a lot less for putting on the debit spread. So I need to know that. We've got a tool in the software called the Options Pro, which is an add-on module that can help you to determine that, or whatever tools that you have to determine whether an option premium is under or overvalued. That's what makes my decision on whether I'm going to put on a credit or a debit spread. Any other questions, Joey? Why are you so slow at this? Okay. Everybody, Joey just told me to shut up. That's not a nice thing to do. Everybody, you know what you should. There you go. That's for telling me to shut up. Okay.
Is there a way to put them on a performance graph against the industry composite?
The question is there a way to put these stocks on an industry graph compared to, what is it compared to?
On a way to put them on a performance graph against the industry composite.
Yeah, I can do that, but I need to know what all of the stocks are. So let's do this.
So those 3 stocks that we were doing.
Let's go look at Novavax. Let's go look at mRNA and PRPO. If I right-click, I can go to view a stock graph. Once I've done that, because I've got them all in there, I can change from a stock graph to a performance graph. And it's only putting NVAX up against its industry. So I can see NVAX, which is this right here. And I'm going to put this on a 3-month graph. Here's NVAX in this color, because I can tell by the legend over here. Compared to its industry, it's way outperforming its industry. Now, let's move this over here for a second. Let's go back up to the coronavirus stocks. I would need to now add more of these stocks to the list. So notice that on my performance graph, I can now add more stocks. So I'm going to do that. I need to see what the stocks are. Actually, I could do it this way. Let's push this down a little bit. So what other stocks do I see? SRNE, comma. NVAX is already up there. Yep. LAKE, comma, REGN, comma, CODX, comma, VRTX, one more, comma, CNC. All right, so I've added them all to my performance graph, right? Looking back 3 months. Simply, I click the, check the boxes for them. So there's SRNE, that green line, Lakeland, underperforming SRNE, REGN, down here with the industry, Codex. Look at that, folks, VRTX and CNC. I can clearly see just by looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those stocks compared to its industry, which is that red line all the way down here, which stocks are outperforming. That's another great way. And Novax is definitely a big one outperforming, followed by, if you want another good one, SRNE. So that's a great question. And yes, if I wanted to spend the time to put all of the stocks in there, I could clearly see who the clear winner would be. So that's a good, who asked that question, Joey?
Jay.
Jay? That's a beautiful question, and that's a great way to look at which stocks in the industry are doing the best. Absolutely. Any other questions, Joey?
Is there a way to save a performance graph?
No. Question is there a way to save a performance graph? The answer to that is no.
And does your software analyze penny stocks?
Question is, does our software analyze penny stocks? Doggone right it does. I'm going to show you something real quick. This is outside of the realm of things that I normally do. I'm going to go stocks, price volume, price actual. Watch this. Less than custom value, 50 cents. 50 cents. In the candy shop. What's the other song he did? What's the, in the party in the club, pocket full of bud. It's all the reason I know. Something like that. Anyway, no, I don't know. So stocks less than 50 cents. Watch this. You want to analyze penny stocks? There you go. I'm going to come up with a list. How about that? All stocks less than 50 cents. But I want to look at the things like, are they under or overvalued? What's their relative value? So now, let me make this a little better for you. Capital appreciation. See if I can make this. RV, greater than 1. So let's get some good fundamentals behind these. Relative safety, greater than 1. Oh, I'm doing this on the fly, folks. Let's go see if I got any penny stocks that got good fundamentals. Ta-da! No. That makes sense. Normally, penny stocks are not stocks that are fundamentally sound. All right, so let's do this. Let's go change that to relative timing, greater than 1. So now, normally, I'm just looking for the penny stocks that are in an uptrend. There we go. I'm probably going to get a nice little list of those stocks. Yep, and there we go. So all of these stocks are in an uptrend. What do I do now? Go look at this stock. Go look at their graphs. So that's another good question. We can analyze any kind of stock you want. All right?
One more, and then we gotta move
No, one more.
One more.
All right, one more.
If you take profits out, does that change growth rate? Is it the same?
The question is, if I take profits out, does that change growth range, or is it just, listen, if I take profits, I made money. What's the overall goal when investing in the market? To make money. So if I take profits a little early, do I get a little less in growth? Well, yeah, I don't grow it as much, but what's the goal? I want to make money. And if I can hit a target or go above a target that I've got set for me for investing in the market, that's the most important thing. All right, so, but will it affect growth? The answer to that is yes, I think, because you're not making nearly as much. But 2% is 2%. All right, 2% or 3% or however you look at it. But That's the best way that I can answer that question.
All right, one more.
Huh? No, stop. Leave me alone. All right, so I'm going to go back to the viewers tab. Let's go to my watch list for today. By the way, folks, thank you for the questions. Good questions today. And for those of you who like what you've seen so far, you're not a subscriber, as I mentioned, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in getting the software, Joey again is going to put a link in there to show you how to get a 30-day subscription to this VectorVest software for 30 days. Oh, Lynn, is there a website to buy VectorVest items like mugs and tea? Yeah. Lynn, look below this video. Is it below the video? Look below the video down there.
She's up there.
Huh?
She's over there.
She's over there?
Yeah.
No, she's over there. But look at the video down there. You see where you can buy mugs. Mugs are like $750,000 per, especially if you get one with my signature on it. All right. Now, what are they? About $15 for a mug? There it is. So, yes, you can get, I think
Masks.
we got masks too, and do we get T-shirts?
I don't know if they're on there yet.
We're working on T-shirts. But, yes, you can get now stuff for VectorVest. All right. Let's get to my next story. Next story is about oil. Woo-wee. Oil. Oil is a slippery slope. It really, really is. And I'm looking at stories like this. U.S. oil falls below $40 as demand worries stump big draw. What have I always said about oil, Joey?
No, supply and demand.
Wow. Do you know?
Demand drives supply.
No, demand.
Drives demand.
Wow. Oil is driven by demand. They're typing it in the room, Joey?
No, I was reading this.
Oh, okay. Oil is driven by demand. Demand drives oil. All right, so we're looking at oil falls below $40 as worries draw. All right, worries stump on a big draw. Now look at this. The benchmark price of U.S. oil settled beneath $40 a barrel, and this was on Thursday. This was last week's story. When was this done? July 30th. All right, snapping a support level critical to longs in the market as traders brushed away a big crude draw reported by the government on Wednesday to focus on demand's worries sparked by COVID-19. So I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to help pinpoint the right opportunity to get into oil. I've got another doom and gloom story about oil. Big oil companies lose billions. How many zeros is billions?
A lot.
A lot, but not as much as trillions, right? Not as many.
Less.
Huh?
3 less.
It's 3 less than trillions. Prepare for prolonged pandemic. 2 stocks make the news here, Exxon and Chevron. But as I mentioned, I'm going to help you to pinpoint the exact time to get into oil. All right, they joined procession of oil giants reporting dismal second quarter results as the coronavirus continues to reduce the world's thirst for oil and gas. Why is it being reduced? People are not driving to work. People are not flying on planes. Cruise ships are not running around. There's a lot less demand for oil. It makes sense. All right, it does make sense. So those are 2 doom and gloom stories about oil. Let's get back into the software real quick. My 2 stories were Chevron, Exxon, and then I'm also going to bring up WTI, W&T Offshore. That's what I look for in order to time oil. All right, I use that to time oil. Let's analyze these. CVX, overvalued, trading at 87, value of 67.48. Looking at ExxonMobil, trading at 43.58, value at 39.20, overvalued. How about W&T Offshore, $2.37, where I got a value of 51 cents. Ooh, let me put that in there. Ooh-wee. And then,
Good googly muggly.
that's way overvalued. Let's analyze them. Upside potential on CVX, below the value of 1. Not a good long-term play. ExxonMobil, RV below the value of 1. Not a good upside play or long-term play. And W&T Offshore at 26.26 on relative value. If I look at RV, RS, and RT on all 3 of these stocks are not fundamentally sound and they are not going up in price. I really shouldn't even have to look at the graphs, but I will. All right, because I'm going to pinpoint for you the exact time it is to get into oil. So demand is low. We still have an oversupply. We're still digging into that supply. Demand is going to catch up. Don't get me wrong. Oil will start going back up again at some point in time. It's going to happen. All right. But Chevron did form a level of support. Let's go draw me a line. Did form a level of support. This is, remember, the story just said that. Formed a level of support. Style. Let's make that a little darker. Look at that. Chevron did, and it is serving still as a good level of support. I like it. The 3 and the 8 are about to cross. Keep your eyes on that. Same thing with ExxonMobil. Look at that level of support. Man, it seems like that whole industry is bouncing off a level of support. Look at that. Nice sideways move. This is the ticker symbol that I'm going to help you to use to know when it's the right time. Because I track oil as a whole in WT offshore, this is U.S. exploration production for petroleum. Notice there's its level of support. The VectorVest software drew it for you, sitting at a value of $2.18. That is the current level of support on WTI. This is the little secret, though. Number one, the stock is in a channel. Let's get it out of a channel. See that level of resistance and that level of support. Number two, the 3 and the 8 have crossed, but I got a down day today. Preliminarily on the 3-8 cross, good short-term way to get in. When the 3-8 crosses back down, good time to get out. You do that time and time again, you can make money on WTI. All right, number three. I want this indicator RT to go above 1. That is going to be your strong confirmation of when it's going to be a good time to get into oil. When WTI, the 3 and the 8 cross, which they are right now, let's see what happens after today, comes out of this level of resistance, which is sitting at $2.60, and followed by RT going above 1, bang, zoom, pow. What was that, bang, Batman? Don't you remember that? You're too young to remember Batman with the bang, zoom, pow? How old are you, like 12?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
12 and a half.
12 and a half. Wow, you're almost 13. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyway, that's, I think, is going to be your jump-off point on when it's okay to start to get back into oil. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell. That's going to be a good indicator to help you to make that decision. All right? So that's my little tidbit of information to help you.
Bang, zoom, pow was the honeymooners.
Oh, that was. Oh, yeah, that was the honeymoon. I do know what I'm talking about. It was the that was the honeymooners, but that was Batman too.
Bang pow was Batman.
Whatever. Any questions, Joey?
Is there a way to see which stocks are keeping VVC negative today compared to the other indices?
The question is, can we see what stocks are keeping the VectorVest composite negative today as compared to the other? No. I can see all of the stocks that are going. I can run a search and show you all of the stocks that are going down today. I can do that, and that would affect the VectorVest composite. I can run a search of all of the stocks that are negative. Let me do that real quick. I can run a search, new search, where oops. No, new search. I don't want to save this. All right, stocks, price, actual, less than, common, less than. Oh no, that's not what I want. Stocks, not stock, price. Let's go percent price change. Yep, percent price change less than 0. If I run that, I can run a search that finds all of the stocks in the database that are down today, every single one. All right, if I look at all, how many stocks will that give me? It won't tell me. It won't. I know I've exceeded. It won't tell me. But here's all of the stocks in the database that are going down. So that's the only way I can answer your question. All right. Oh, that's the only way I can answer your question. So if they're going down out of the 8,200 stocks that we tracked, then that's definitely affecting the VectorVest composite. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Any other questions, Joey? Oh my gosh, why does it really take you this long to answer the questions?
I gotta sound out all these words, Glenn.
Holy smokes, use your big words. You can do it, Joey.
I gotta sound them out.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Why do you use the 3-month chart? I like to see the full image where the stock has been and where it's going. 45% bottom left, upper right.
All right, so the question is, why do I use a 3-month graph? What happens every 3 months on a stock? Earnings. What's the biggest mover of a stock's price? Earnings. So if I'm looking at a 3-month graph, I put earnings on, earnings will normally show up in the picture somewhere, especially if I know that earnings is the biggest mover of a stock's price. I think that's more than enough information. Now, if you're a longer-term investor, you want to put on a 1-year graph, you can do that. You want to put on a 5-year graph, you can do that. The only time that I really look at a longer-term graph is if I know that I'm in a longer-term stock like, everybody knows what I'm getting ready to put on. If I'm looking at Apple, that I will look at on a longer-term graph. Who asked that question? Whoever asked that question, that's a great question, but I'm going to put on a longer term graph on a stock that I know that I'm trying to hold for retirement. Hopefully that makes sense.
Twinine?
All right, who?
Twinine.
So hopefully that makes sense. Or if I look at something like Microsoft, same kind of deal, look at it, yeah. Or if I looked at a company like Tractor Supply, take a look at that. Now you understand. Now these stocks, I'm looking at a 5-year graph on. That makes sense on these kinds of stocks. There's Microsoft, Tractor Supply, not nearly as smooth as the other two, but look at that Microsoft. Good garden gin. You got to love that. That's where I would look at a way longer term graph. But a lot of the stocks that I'm looking at right now, because of the type of a market that we're in, 3 months is more than enough information to let me know. Is it moving from the bottom left to the top right in a 3-month graph time period? I can jump on it more so for a swing trade, a few days to a few weeks, couple of weeks maybe, more so than looking at a longer term play. All right, good question as well. Any other questions? Nope, excellent. Let's go to our next story. The next story today, just going from oil, is going to clean energy. I am a huge fan of clean energy. It is an industry that I've been talking about here on Trending Thursday for a minute. It is a hot industry. And a lot of people want to say, well, that whole clean energy because of oil, and this is something you look at for the long term. Bull. That's what I say. That way I don't say bad words.
I heard you say that before.
You heard me say what?
What you just said.
You probably did. That people are looking long term, saying that it's not time for a clean energy yet, which is like wind energy and solar energy and stuff like that. Listen, with the advent of the lower demand on oil right now, I think clean energy has got a little bit of a jumping off platform to start making some money. All right. Canadian Solar is a stock. Says it started construction of the 10 megawatt. I don't know what that is, but it's German. Power plant in Germany, which will be powered with more than 22.9K pieces of the company's high efficiency mono PERC modules. That's a lot of pieces. All right. Canadian Solar says it is a turnkey solutions provider for the PV plant, responsible for most of the project execution, including the design, engineering. So this is just a way to help Canadian Solar get bigger, all right? And Canadian Solar recently said it will pursue a listing of its modules and system business in China. Whoo-wee! Let me put that up there.
Holy smoke.
That could be a big boost in Canadian Solar's move. Keep that stock in play. Think about it, all right? Another stock that's in here is Solar Edge. It beat second quarter, so not only is the industry moving, a few of the stocks that have reported are at a point where they're beating or meeting earnings expectations. That's a good thing. So watch this. Let's go into my watch list again. Let's go. Notice that this list is sorted by our master indicator VST. What's the top stock in my watch list today? SEDG, the number one stock in this watch list. How cool is that? And the other one is Canadian Solar. But I'm also going to put up something else here, iClean. I'm going to come back to that. All right, Sedge, which is trading at $204 with a value of $147. This is an overvalued stock, all right? Does it have good upside potential? Relative value at 1.35. Sure does. Is it a safe stock? Relative safety at 1.36. This is a safe stock. Relative timing at 1.84. This stock is good all the way around. Good fundamentals, moving up in price. Good CI, which means the stock goes up more than it goes down, with growing their earnings at a clip of 23% a year. I like Solar Edge. Canadian Solar, 25.53 with a value of 23.53 with a value of 26.54. Very close. I'm going to call that fairly valued. Upside potential at 1.03. It's okay. It's above 1, so it's favorable. Is this a safe stock? Not nearly as safe as Solar Edge. Relative safety on CSIQ is at 0.86. Below 1, so it's unfavorable. But it's moving up in price. RT at 1.58. They grow their earnings at a clip of 6% a year with positive earnings. Not nearly as strong as Sedge. Again, SEDG is a good stock to keep your eye on. Now, if I've been talking to you about clean energy and that it's a good space to be in, how about playing one stock that plays the whole industry? That's where this ETF ICLM is good. This, my friends, is my stock pick of the week, ICLM. Because it's an ETF, price and value will be the same. RV and RS will be at 1 because it's hard to put a relative value and relative safety on an ETF that tracks either an index or a group of stocks. Is this in an uptrend? Outstandingly, yes, it is. No earnings growth. That's a really good play. Let's take a look at all three of these graphs. All right. I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised with all three of these stocks. Sedge, coming off a level of support, the 3 and the 8 went up. How about the 3 and the 8 haven't crossed back down bearish? Leave it alone. RT above 1. I'm picking up in volume right here. Down day to day. I always tell folks, one day doesn't make a downtrend. How about here? It was up, down, 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 up, down. Anyway, so the stock does exhibit some form, though, of a bearish reversal pattern right now with today's activity. Looks like a bearish harami. What do I need to confirm that move? I need to see another down day tomorrow. If I want to take some, if I own this stock, that's a good way to start thinking about taking profits. All right, that's one of them. SEDG. Canadian Solar is really not as strong as SEDG, but moving up nonetheless from a bottom left, top right, pulling back a little bit, but sitting in a channel. It's always tough to play a stock that's sitting in a channel. Moving averages don't work nearly as well as a stock sitting in a channel. You have to use another indicator like RSI or stochastics to play the bounces off of support or the retracements off of resistance. But nonetheless, it is moving a tad bit sideways. RT is still above 1. Volume is okay, not perfect. This is my stock pick of the week. If you want to play the whole industry, the whole space, that is a beautiful graph. Bottom left, top right, look at the volume. There's a lot of movement in that industry. Folks, I will tell you to keep your eye on, if you like the industry, keep your eye on that stock. Or look at, if you want to play an individual stock, SEDG might be the way to go. But clean energy, folks, is a beautiful way to go. I've got a clean energy watch list. I create that for you too. All right, clean energy watch list right now contains 29 stocks in that. Look at that. How about I'm looking for the ones that have the most upside potential? There's Genco Solar at the top. There's Solar Edge up there as well. All right. If I'm looking for to play the more aggressive side, let's sort this by RT. Same 29 stocks. Which is moving up the most? Plug, Nova, Run. We made some money in the Jockey Club on that stock too. But I can take any of these watch lists and tailor make them to the way I want to play. I'm going to look at the safest ones, the ones that consistently meet or exceed earnings. Solar Edge back at the top again. So Solar Edge is a really good way to play an individual stock in this space. Keep your eye on that. And guess what? It does have options. If you play options, it does have options attached to it. I love this industry. I've loved this industry for the past couple of months. But again, don't forget, if you want to play the industry as a whole, you might really want to look at ICLM. ICLM. I'm going to add that in here into this list. I think I should. ICLM, which plays the whole industry. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? There it is. Even sorted by relative safety. Let's sort this back by VST again. Let's see where it sits. It's further down the list, but that's a great way to play the whole industry. All right, any questions, Joey?
When is a good time to get in on ICLN?
Look at the graph. Look at right now. View the stock graph. What did I see on it? What's going on? So I'm going to get you guys into the habit of knowing when to get into a stock. All right. I get that question asked a lot because people don't want to, and if I step on some toes, get over yourself. You want the picks because if it doesn't work, you want to blame somebody. But if it does work, oh, that Glenn was a good guy. Don't care what you think about me being a good guy or not. I want to teach you how to do it on your own, because if I give you a fish, you'll eat for a day. If I teach you how to fish, you'll eat for a lifetime. What's the stock doing? Stock's moving up. You hit a new high today. What am I looking for? My regular people, what's a good entry point for this stock? Type it in the room. All right, I'm going to let them tell you when to get into the stock because they've learned what to look for before they get into a stock. Joey, somebody should be typing in the room something. All right, when am I looking to get into this stock? Nobody said anything. How much of it? There you no, not 12 cents. Stock is less than $20, so 5 cents above the high. Absolutely. You can look at any stock. Whoever asked me the question about when to get into a stock, you can look at any stock and make that determination off the high, off the most recent high, to make sure you're buying into the stock that's rising. But again, I will always get that question asked. Don't be afraid. Don't shortchange yourself. You know the answer. Use what you've learned. That's why I'm here to teach. Any other questions, Joey?
Clean energy, swing trade or long-term hold?
Ah, man, clean energy, swing trade or long-term hold. Look at this industry as in the ETF. I like it as a long-term hold right now until that industry breaks down. Until that industry breaks down. Let's put it on a 6-month graph. Back here during coronavirus early, it broke down. Clean energy wasn't the move. But how about utilizing moving averages along with RT, that indicator? Look at that right there. Look at that right there. How about RT went above 1, 3 and the 8 went? Was that a good opportunity? Yeah. Look at that. And when it broke down, did RT break down behind it? No. Market or the that whole space just went sideways until right now. Yeah. I'm liking it longer term until this industry, as far as the ETF breaks down.
Jay says, hey Glenn, what was that clean energy ETF?
What you're looking? Did Jay out? Jay, you're looking at?
Yeah, that's it right there.
All right, we're looking at it. I'm telling you, if you want to play this space, this is a great way to play the space with a lot less exposure to risk because you're playing one ETF rather than individual stocks. Any other questions, Joey?
What's RT?
What's RT? RT is the short-term price trend of the stock. Once you become a subscriber to the software, you can right-click on any stock, okay? Once you've done that, you can get a full stock analysis report. Once you become a brand new subscriber, print one of these because everything that we talk about as far as these indicators will be explained in this report. RT looks at the stock's price trend. RT is computed from the analysis of the direction, the magnitude, and dynamics of a stock price movement. RT tells me pretty much if it's in uptrend or not and how much of an uptrend or not it is.
I'll put the link in there for them to get a free
you gave stock analysis. For anyone who wants to get a stock analysis on any stock that they want, Joey put the link in there. Click on it. You get free stock analysis. Any other questions, Joey?
No, on the stocks of interest.
All right, so now we get ready to go on the stocks of interest. Ooh-wee. Let's go to my news. Stocks of interest. Let's start with Coca-Cola. Remember we did a story about a while ago about Budweiser getting into the seltzer business? Well, how about this?
Topo Chico.
Shut up, Joey.
I love Topo Chico.
You really know about this?
Yeah. I've never seen them in a can, though. I've only had the water.
So, Joey...
It's a mineral water from Mexico.
It's a mineral water from Mexico.
Topo Chico is, yeah.
Wow, Topo Chico. All right, well, go ahead, Joey. High five. Nope. That's more... high five. There you go. Whatever. I love you like a brother. So Coca-Cola is launching Topo Chico hard seltzers as a brand from Sam Adams' parent and Molson Coors Source. So think about that. These seltzers more. Why are people? I'm going to interview you right now, Joey. Why are people getting more so into seltzers, the hard seltzers right now? Do you have any intake on any put?
They're just refreshing. It's just
Because they're more. You don't think beer is as refreshing?
it's just been around a long time. I think it's something new, and it's
I like that, Joey. You got something to bring to the table besides your production skills. Joey thinks that is because it is refreshing and it's something new. Just like you remember when energy drinks came out? That was something new, and they took off. Monster took off like nobody's business. I'm thinking that the same thing is going on with these seltzers, these hard seltzers. So Coca-Cola said it would be shutting down zombie brands. You remember zombie brands? All right, to focus on better growth potential. So that's a stock, and Coca-Cola is jumping into the hard seltzer game with a new brand based on its popular sparkling mineral water. That's what Joey just said. Topo Choco, now hard seltzer. So it's moving from that mineral water to hard seltzer because it's gonna grow. It's a new fad. It's a new thing.
Gene says it's not as many calories.
And it's not as many calories. And this is tangy lemon lime. Ooh-wee. All right, so Coca-Cola is making my stories this week. Microsoft. Why is Microsoft in here? Because everybody knows that Microsoft is putting in a bid to buy TikTok. Well, the president said he didn't want TikTok because TikTok was made by China and China, So Microsoft said, wait, hold on, Mr. President. Just like that. They did like that. Come on now. Hold on now. And Microsoft said, hey, we want to buy TikTok. And the president said, all right, you got 45 or 90 days to make a deal or else it's going away. So Microsoft says, all right, we're going to go in there. We're going to buy. It says it's committed to try to buy TikTok's U.S. operations after CEO Satya Nadella discussed a potential deal during a phone call today with the president. That was on August 2nd. Following the conversation, the company issued a blog post saying it would move quickly to pursue discussions with TikTok parent company ByteDance. Is that like the Bat Dance? ByteDance. Anyway, aiming to complete the negotiations by September 15th. But wait, I got another piece of the story. How about Apple announces the 4-to-1 split? All right, I'll come back to that. This is the story. Apple expressing interest in TikTok. Hoo-wee. You know what's finna happen? They finna fight it out. Now, think about it. Who's got the more money to go after TikTok? Apple. Who do you think most likely would pull off the deal to get TikTok? Apple, after Microsoft said, no, we're going to throw our hats in the ring and we want it. And Apple says, stand back, little man. That's what they said. They said to Microsoft, stand back, little man. I'm coming in to do a real man's job. Now, some of y'all going to text me and email me and said, that wasn't very nice, Len. You know something? It was funny. That's all that matters. It was funny. But looks like there's going to be a little bit of rivalry here in Apple and Microsoft going after TikTok. Figured that it was good news. And you did see my other story that Apple had 4-to-1 split. I had a discussion with my trading floor peoples, my stock trading room, the Jockey Club. I said that this was a dilution of the stock. It is not. 4-to-1, the value of the stock remains the same. It's just that the price of it goes down to get more people involved in buying into Apple. So that was big news as of last week. Big. Now, it's not going to happen until August, later August. Where is it? Is there in here? There it is. Close the business August 24th, and trading will begin to split adjusted basis on August 31st. All right, so that's key as well. This is really going to give people an opportunity who love Apple, like me, to get into it at a lot lower price. All right, so I do like the story between Apple and Microsoft. I think that that's just really going to be a little bit of a battle to see who really wants it. All right, another stock, NEO. NEO jumps, I don't want that. NEO jumps as deliveries vault 300%. So this is in the automobile manufacturing space. Tesla rivals see strong quarter three. NIO, if you're looking for another stock, NIO grew July deliveries by 300% as the Chinese electric vehicle maker, along with rivals XPeng Motors, Li Auto, and Tesla, boosted production. NIO delivered 3,500 electric SUVs in China last month, up 322%. Man, oh man. Electric cars. Remember I talked to you about clean energy and people were saying that, yeah, that's somewhere further down the line. Yeah, people said that about electric cars too, didn't they? They were like, well, we're not ready for electric cars yet. How about we're watching it? Now, is it a small portion compared to cars that are out there? Sure it is. But it's picking up. Companies are making money. That's the same thing I'm saying about clean energy. All right, another stock that made. Now, I didn't do a story on gold today, but I found Barrick Gold and Skeena reach a deal on SK Creek project. So Barrick Gold says Skeena Resources, there's a ticker symbol for that, will exercise its option to acquire the SK Creek project in British Columbia, and Barrick will waive its back-in right on the project. Skeena will give 100% ownership, operatorship, that's a real word, I guess so, of SK Creek, and Barrick will become a significant shareholder. So Barrick is backing off and will waive its back-in right for the project. Skeena will take it, and that could be good. It might be a Barrick, it might be a whole bunch of gold that the company's getting ready to get in that creek. Barrick is a big holder of that. Another something in the gold. Gold surges to a new record, blows past $2,000 per ounce. Woo-wee. All right, so gold has been on the rise. We did a strategy of the week in the VectorVest software on July 2nd. We've been talking about being bullish on gold back since April 20th and April 27th. You can always go back in the software and see what we said about those things. So gold is rocking and rolling. Again, it wasn't a major story today, but I did find a couple of articles that put it into my stocks of interest. And last but not least, Disney quarter three, Mulan, the movie. I've seen the previews for this, so it's not the cartoon, it's the movie version of Mulan, headed to Disney Plus Premium Video on Demand. It's going to cost you $30 to get it, but that's going to help pull that. What was the last movie that just came out on Video on Demand? It went straight. I watched it. Dag nabbit, I forgot what it was. It wasn't Hamilton. Movie that just, Trolls. Trolls, when Trolls went straight to Video on Demand, I got it for the grandbabies. Well, I really got it for me because I wanted to see it. But the grandbabies were there to see it. And I'm thinking that the movie houses, the AMCs and Cinemarks are going to get really ticked. Why? Because the companies are going directly to the end user and bypassing them. Well, why are they being bypassed? Because nobody's going to movies. So I don't know how they can get really ticked. They're really ticked because they say, fine, if you're going to go straight to the people, when it comes time, when we do open back up, we don't want your movies. All right, who are they going to hurt? Who are those movie houses going to hurt? Themselves, because guess what? All right, fine. They're going to keep releasing them and then they're going to put them all out of business. So I don't know how much leverage the Cinemarks and the AMCs have in this argument. I really don't know. All right, so those are my stocks that hit my radar this week. Let's go take a look at them. What was it? Gold was in there. Microsoft was in there. XAU, which is part of gold. Disney was in there. Coca-Cola was in there. No. I think that was it. Am I missing anything? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 2. Chevron, CVX. There it is. And XOM. There they are, 7. So those are my seven stocks that caught my attention this week. All right.
You don't have Chevron in here.
I do on mine. Oh, I don't have Chevron? No, Chevron.
Now you have K.
No, I don't have
Neo,
Chevron.
you need Neo
I forgot. I don't have Chevron. That was for my oil. I have Neo.
and XAU.
Apple. Yep, Apple, Microsoft, the gold, Neo, Disney, Coca-Cola. There it is.
Okay.
That's what I got. All right, so these These are my stocks of interest this week. Let's analyze them. Apple, slightly overvalued, trading at $379 trading at $455 with a value of $379, slightly overvalued. Barrick Gold trading at $29.37 with a value of $29.18, pretty even valued. Microsoft trading at $215 with a value of $148, that is overvalued. XAU, which is an index to track gold, silver, trading at 158. Well, it's not trading at 150. Well, it needs to be exactly the same. That's how it's supposed to be. NIO, the Chinese automaker, trading at $13, where it's valued at 86 cents. Good googly muggly. Let me put that in there.
Good googly muggly.
That's tremendously overvalued. Disney at 131 with a value of 43. The value of Disney has dropped a lot since the pandemic. And I think helping that was they're trying to get the Disney streaming. They put a lot of money behind getting Disney streaming before the pandemic hit. And then coupled that with the pandemic, the value of Disney has dropped a lot. Coca-Cola trading at 47, value of 36, a little bit overvalued. Let's look at the relative value on Apple. It's over 1, good upside potential. Gold at 1.45, relative value, good. Microsoft at 1.16 on relative value, good. Gold, silver, XAU is going to always be at 1. NIO, that company is so overvalued, the upside potential on that is horrible. Even though the stock has made the news and has delivered a lot of cars, this company is not fundamentally sound. Disney, relative value below 1, and Coca-Cola relative value above 1. Below 1. Relative safety on Apple is good. Barrick is good. Microsoft is good. Disney is favorable. Relative timing, all of them are in uptrends. Let's go take a look at these graphs real quick. View the stock graph. And why did that look the way? Look at a 3-month graph. Gold, there's Barrick Gold, nicely moving higher, down day to day. Again, one day doesn't make a trend. And look at the 3 and the 8, look at the RT. Both of them are still good. The volume is still okay as well. Look at Microsoft. I like Microsoft. I'd like to see the stock just broke through a level of resistance today, sitting at 215.16. Love to see if it could break through that most recent 3-month high. But the 3 and the 8 are in place. RT is on the rise. Love to see if this has got more volume behind it with today's activity. Here's my other gold stock, XAU. Nicely moving higher, down day to day. Big volume on the down day. And I think something's up with the volume on our look back period here. Disney's starting to, that news about the real movie Mulan being released, video on demand, drove the stock's price higher. If I'm looking back 3 months, though, I don't know how warm and fuzzy I feel just quite yet. Gap up, normally we had a little bit of a pullback, a lot of profit taking going on there, but a rebound today with a nice up day, very little hair, as Jesse would say, or a wick at the top. Good above average volume, and RT is picking up. This may not be a bad play. Make sure that the stock is still moving higher before you pull the trigger. I do like that. 12 cents higher than the high. Coca-Cola, man, this would be very interesting. Could be getting in early on the stock where RT is just going back above 1. Watch the 3 and the 8. This could be a very interesting early play, especially as we get further and further into summer. Going after that hard salsa business, a new coming to it. This may not be a bad play on Coca-Cola. Just keep that in mind. On NIO, nothing is really good about it except for the news. All right, if I look at this stock, the RT is above 1. Look at the volume. I got no conviction in volume here. The fundamentals of this stock are not good. Just be careful with this stock. This was a news-driven stock that I'm saying be careful with. All right, be careful with. Next stock is Apple. I got nothing bad to ever say about Apple. All right, the 4-to-1 split, the news coming out, I think that's going to help to drive the stock's price higher. The little tiff between them and Microsoft is going to be a little fun thing to watch to see who's got the moxie to go pull off the deal. All right, so any questions on any of that, Joey?
No questions.
All right.
Jay says he loved your work controls.
He loved my who?
Your work controls.
My workings rule? Wow. Really? Put him in timeout.
You put him in timeout?
Put him in timeout. Don't really put him in timeout because you did that once before. You messed up somebody. All right.
Okay.
So this week, folks, this is do not put my chat over. This week we're not going. I just did. This week we're not going to look at your individual stocks. This week I am now ready to tell you that we are bringing on a new segment, and I'm going to start to bring it into these segments called Stock Market Confessions. Stock Market Confessions. So what is that going to be all about? I'm still working through it, but it's going to be the idea of you're going to send me confessions. I'm going to print them out and I'm going to read them. And I'm not sure what my character, I am going to grow a character, and I need some help from you. What kind of a character would you like to see? It's not going to be me. Well, it's going to be me, but it's going to be a character. So I'm just curious, in the comments after this video is done, type in the comments what you would like to see as a character to go after Stock Market Confessions. All right, Stock Market Confessions. This week, I have a confession. I've got 3 confessions, but I'm going to only take one. And this actually came off of the Facebook online page. We actually have a VectorVest online group in Facebook. All right, we have one. So like a superhero, like no, Lynn. Remember, I'm trying to get through a confession. So right now, I'm thinking something along the lines of detective. Something along the lines of detectives. Now, 2 things I don't want to be. 1, I don't want to be a cop. Too much stuff going on in the news. Don't want to be a cop. And I don't want to go the religious route. I don't want to be Father O'Malley or something like that. So I'm looking for something outside of those things as a character. All right, so just put that out there. I'm just putting that up. Bugs Bunny, really, Jim? No. All right, so Duck Tracy. Well, all right. So here's my first confession. And again, this was taken off of our Facebook online group. All right. I didn't use any names yet, but the person started off and says, "Are we taking confessions today?" That's what caught my attention when I looked at it. He says, "Last week, I followed VectorVest advice and tightened my stops." Okay, that's a good thing. The result was Apple. All right, I'm going to put these into a graph real quick. He says that Apple, AAPL, comma, Amazon, AMZN, comma, Harmony Gold, HMY, comma, Regener, that was a coronavirus stock, comma, and Boeing. Why did you have Boeing? Comma, all sold. And he put dope. I think I'll use alerts rather than stops henceforth. So anyone buying the FANG stocks today, my wife wants me to buy Apple. I'm trying not to use emotion or FOMO, which is fear of missing out, in making investment decisions. Thoughts? That's my confession. All right. First off, let's go take a look at these stocks. Now, normally I like Inspector Glenn, but smack this, I don't want to use my name. Remember, I'm making a new character, so my name I don't want my name in there. So I'm just keeping that in mind. So first thing is, I don't know the date that he bought the stocks. I don't know the date that he sold the stocks. So just keeping that in mind, I'm looking at if your stocks hit your stops. How many times do you have this happen? From a confessional standpoint, I want everybody to confess. How many times have you gotten out of a stock only to see it to go back up after you've gotten out of it? Let me hear you confess it. All right, if you're willing to confess it, do so. How many times have you gotten out of a stock only to see the stock go up right after you got into it? Right after you got out of it. Unlike Inspector Vector. All right, you like that?
That's not bad.
And that's not bad. All right, everybody is confessing. A lot of people are confessing that I like Inspector Vector. Something that might not be so bad. All right. And you can't count that high, says Paul. All right, so now, let me back you up from that. As you confess that, Inspector Clouseau, it would be Clouseau, Jay. Let me back you up from that, okay? What's the purpose of investing in the market? To make money. If you closed out of your stock and you made money on the trade, don't cry over it. All right? How many times do we kick ourselves afterwards and go, oh man, I could have made more money? Stop thinking that way. I want to get you guys out of the habit of thinking that way. As long as you have accomplished the goal of making money on the trade, that's what's important. Inspector Croissant, Inspector Double Dip. All right. So that's the first part of that right there. Now, they all sold out. Let's go look at the rest of the stocks that are in here. Amazon sold out probably somewhere up in here, I'm going to assume. A lot of these all kicked over. Whew. I don't know why he was holding Boeing. That would probably be another question in my head is why were you in Boeing? What about Boeing gave you the okay to think that it was all right to get into it? Not really sure. I would probably have to find that out. But he's saying that his wife is telling him that it's, she wants him to buy more Apple. He doesn't want to be emotional. So fine. How do we get into Apple as of right now? 12 cents higher than the high. Just good. Now it's news driven. We talked about it in today's session as one of my stocks of interest, right? We talked about it. So I'm okay with getting into it, but I'm not willing to back up the truck. I'm not willing to throw a lot of my money behind it. If I have a 10 stock portfolio, I'm only putting 10% into that position. I'm not going to increase it just because. Use that metric of if the stock is over $20, 12 cents higher than the high. If the stock is less than $20, 5 cents over the high. I'm okay with buying more into Apple. If your stops hit though, they hit for a reason. All right, we've been saying tighten your stops. We've been saying that, and just if your stock stopped out, it did. Now, what happens if you didn't tighten your stops and the market got smoked? Who was you going to blame then? Think about that. Who was you going to blame then? You're going to be like, well, nobody told me. Yes, we did. We told you tighten your stops. Folks, it's something that you want to do in case it needs to happen, and instead of don't cry over it. As you confess, don't cry over it. Don't cry over it. Don't cry over it. And if you get out of the stock and you say, man, the stock is still moving up, be careful double dipping. You hear that, Lynn? I know you're here. Be careful with double dipping. All right? Be careful with double dipping. All right? I did it, and it hurt me. Stop double dipping. Lynn says, first of all, the first problem of this guy's confession, he starts with, my wife wants me. Come on, man. Listen, don't go down that path, Lynn. Let me tell you something. Women make better investors than men. Why? Because men are born with egos. And if you are a married man or you're with a woman who's interested in the market, listen to her. Huh? Oh, listen to her. Listen to her. And if you tune in to our Fantastic Female Fridays with Susan Hayes Colton, she'll tell you the same thing. Women do make better investors than men. So just stop it, Rich. Time for the stop, Rich. All right. Mark says Professor Profit. Ooh. I like. But what does that have to do with getting a confession?
You're still a professor. You can still be a detective.
All right, Professor Profit. So that's two that I like. Did you write that down? You didn't. Professor. I like that. Professor Profit. What was the other one? Inspector Vector. I don't think that's what it was. What is it? Inspector Vector. All right. So that's all I got as far as my first confession.
Dr. Vector?
No, I don't like Dr. Vector. Definitely Professor Profit. Oh, there's my cousin's in here. Mercedes. Oh my gosh. I feel awesome. I feel awesomely elated that I have a family member. I've got a family member in the room who's been interested in the stock market. Everybody say hello to Mercedes. I say hello. I'm putting you on blast right now, Mercedes. I am so putting you on blast. Say hello to my Mercedes. She is a family member, which, remember when I say to everybody, share this on your social media? Do that, because you never know who's out there who is interested in the stock market. You never know who's interested in the stock market out there, folks, on your social media. And this is a good way for them to to learn. All right. This is free. It's informative, but you know me, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. So Professor Profit, I like that. So there you go. I just put you on blast, and look at the love you're getting from the VV Nation, Mercedes. All right. Just think about that. All right. Thank you guys for, I love you too, girl. Thank you. No, first, before I go, what did you think about the stock market confession? All right, let's talk about that. What did you think about the stock market confession? Did you like it? Did you not like it? We're going to still work on it. But this was my first introduction about stock market confessions, and you guys needed to see it first to see, what you thought about it. I've got a couple of... Huh?
Are we going to give them the link?
Give which one? The
confession link.
Send it. Send it. What I'm going to do is I'm sending out a link. I'm sending out a link. Wow. Sonny Mutznick says it sucked. I don't even know you. I'm something? I'm finna tell you some things, Sonny. No, I'm not. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Why'd you take it away? I wanted to know.
Tell me about the link.
All right. So the link. Click on that link. Clay is going to say he was going to do a redirect. He said something about a redirect.
That is.
Oh, that is the redirect? All right. Click on that link. If you want to submit to me a confession about a stock or a group of stocks or whatever, or about a trade, fill that out. And every week we're going to pick one or two. And if I pick yours, I like your confession, and I pick yours, we're going to give something away? Did we say that? I don't know. Maybe Joey's not Joey's cheap. Joey's not trying to let me give away nothing. But this is a good way to still have a little bit of fun. But we can all learn from what you guys think about the trades you put on, or what you thought about it, what you didn't like about it. This is still going to be an each one, teach one. This is still going to be an each one, teach one, and that's what the fun part about it. So I've been working on that. Joey's been working on it. We all have. We are going to run with it. I'm just not sure when it's going to kick off on its initial own segment. So I'm going to start putting them into these segments, once in a while to see. Fill out that. I want to get as many confessions as I can get from you guys. All right? Because that content is what's going to build up the individual segment on its own. All right. With that, I'm done. I want to finish seeing the comments, Joey. Put my comments back. You do that again, I'm going to break your arm. Don't get me ticked off. Stop. Did you really close it? Holy smokes. You know what that means? Ooh,
No time. Let's go.
Let's get it. That's what's finna happen.
Hashtag the trading therapist.
The trading therapist. Ooh. I like that too. The trading therapist. I like that. Understand that when this character is developed, this character will have its own hashtag. So we are mulling these over, definitely. And again, it's awesome to see I had a family member here today. That was awesome, and you guys gave her a lot of love. All right, I'm done. I'm over with. Adios, arrivederci. Oh no, you're gonna give me back my chat again?
Are you gonna wrap up or not?
I want to wrap. I want to see the chat though.
It'll still be here. You can
put my chat up there. Thanks, Joey and Glenn. Father Sunshine? No, I don't want Father Sunshine. Sorry, I spelled your name wrong. You are Professor Profit's relative. It's not. Wow, Angela's already given me Professor Profit. You are Professor Profit's a relative. Wow. The stock professor's another one. All right, he stands on. So what did Lynn say? Can you take on Joey for real? I think Joey sounds tough. Joey ain't tough. Not even. Not even. Not even. All right. I'm getting ready to wrap up. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your feedback on Stock Market Confessions. Put those comments. Let those comments keep coming in even after the video is done. And for everyone who is here that has not subscribed to our page, make sure you do. All right. Make sure you do. Adios, folks. Adios, arrivederci, ciao. Au revoir, sayonara, aloha, shalom, salam, and namaste. Have a great day, folks. Peace.